Thank you, Mr. President. I rise this morning to talk about health care and our young people because, you see, I had a constituent who came to me who has a child who just turned 26 last fall. I, too, have a child that turned 26 last fall. This is a critical age because at this point, our kids cannot be on our health insurance anymore. So hopefully by this time they've graduated from college and they've gotten a job and they're able to afford health care on their own. But it turns out that life is pretty tough for our young people who are struggling to get along in the world. What happened to my constituent's kid is they got him signed up for an ACA plan. It was subsidized because this kid is at the beginning of his career and isn't making a whole lot of money yet. All of us were in that same situation at one point. And the policy cost like $106 a month, which was totally affordable. But then in mid-December, he got a letter saying that the rate had gone from $106 to over $500 a month, which meant he didn't have enough money to have the policy, so he ended up becoming uninsured. This is somebody's kid. According to what I've heard, 200,000 people who had health insurance last year are now uninsured. So this was one story, but there are 200,000 other stories. When I heard this story, my heart fell because I'm like, I wonder if my kid got one of those letters. So I immediately got on the phone, and my child is checking on it, but I'm worried. As a parent, I'm worried. What does this feel like to a young person who has done all the right things, is trying to still do the right things, and can't afford health insurance, and has to just take the risk that nothing bad happens? How do you think this makes parents feel who do all the right things when they raise their kids, teach their kids about financial, how to handle finances and how to get along in the world, and then their kid is uninsured, and you know that your kid can end up in the hospital and in debt for hundreds of thousands of dollars, which if the kid can't afford to pay that kind of debt, all of a sudden it's like all that money that the parent has saved for retirement or whatever is at risk because you're going to help your kid if your kid's in the hospital, right? I mean, these are heartbreaking stories, and very real stories. And you know, a $250 tax rebate, that's going to buy about 2 weeks of health care. A homestead exemption, a property tax break or elimination isn't going to help these kids because they don't own homes. An income tax break isn't going to help because they're not making that much money, so their tax bill is already either zero or next to zero. And it's Republicans in Washington that made a decision to not do anything to help these young people. You probably have young people in your lives. Maybe they're not old enough to be affected by this, or maybe they're older and they're established and they have their health care, but it's going to hit you at some point. You're going to have a grandkid who's uninsured. It's hit 200,000 people already here in Georgia. And so I ask you, each and every individual in your seat, is this really what you want? Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the well.
Recognize the Senator from the 33rd for a point of personal privilege.